Chapter 8. Accumulation of Merits and Virtues. Ananda, monk Dharmakara made such a vast vow before Lokasvararaja Buddha and the multitude of gods and humans. Dwelling on the true wisdom and forging ahead vigorously, he concentrated both his mind and determination on the perfection of the adornment of the subtle and wonderful land. The country he was forming was spacious and boundless, unique and matchless. Once founded, it would exist permanently and never decline or change. In countless kalpas he had accumulated and planted virtuous conducts. He gave no rise to thoughts of greed, anger and ignorance, and he was not attached to sight, sound, smell, taste, and objects of touch or dharmas. He was delighted in the recollection of the good roots cultivated by the previous Buddhas. He practiced the cultivation of nirvana and kept himself far away from falseness and delusion. According to the true Dharma door, he planted numerous roots of virtue. He disregarded all kinds of suffering and had no desire but constant contentment. He pursued only the wholesome dharmas and brought the benefit to living beings. The power of his vows would never wane. He had accomplished his vows with the perfection of patience. He constantly entertained compassion and forbearance for all sentient beings. With genial looks and kind words, he exhorted, consoled, and urged them forward. He respected the triple jewel and attended on teachers and elders with veneration, and there was no insincerity and flattery in his intent. He adorned all the pure conducts of cultivation, and he completed and perfected himself as a model of dharmas. He viewed all dharmas as change. He constantly dwelt on the samadhi of eternal stillness. He guarded well his oral deeds and never ridiculed others' faults. He guarded well his bodily deeds and never transgressed any precept. He guarded well his mental deeds and constantly kept himself pure and uncontaminated. He was not attached to any marks of country, city, village, dependent, or valuables. Invariably he taught and reformed living beings with the 6 parameters of giving, precepts, patience, diligence, concentration, and wisdom. He helped them to have peace of mind and dwell on the true and unsurpassed way. Because of the attainment of these good roots, each place he was born would spontaneously produce countless treasures. He was either an elder devotee, a nobleman, a Kshatriya royal, a Kakravati Raja, a king of one of the 6 realms of sensuality, or even the Brahma king. He never ceased in respectfully exhibiting veneration and making offerings to all the Buddhas. His merits and virtues were beyond description. His body and mouth frequently gave forth measurelessly wonderful fragrance, like the smell of kandana and utpala flowers. The fragrance universally perfumed countless worlds. Wherever he was born, he had a graceful and majestic countenance and appearance. All his 32 marks of a hero and 80 fine characters were replete and perfect. His hands always gave forth innumerable treasures and objects of adornment. Whatever articles were needed, the best were created, and all for bringing the benefits to the sentient beings. Because of such causes and conditions, he could help limitless living beings bring forth the Bodhi heart of perfect, complete enlightenment. Chapter 9. The Replete and Perfect Accomplishment. The Buddha told Ananda, monk Dharmakara practiced the Bodhisattva's conduct and accumulated measureless and boundless merits and virtues. He had mastered all the dharmas without any obstruction, and it could not be perceived by the distinction of any languages. The vows he made were perfectly accomplished. He was thus truly and peacefully dwelling in the Buddha land, which was replete with adornment, awesome virtue, vastness, and purity. Upon hearing the Buddha's speech, Ananda addressed the world-honoured one. Has monk Dharmakara attained Bodhi? Is he the Buddha of the past, or the Buddha of the future, or the present Buddha from other worlds? The Buddha said, that Buddha thus come one is neither here nor there. He has no birth and no death. To him there is no past, present, or future. Delivering living beings is how he fulfills his vows. In the West, passing from Jambudvipa through hundreds of thousands of billions of Buddha countries, there is a world called the Land of Ultimate Bliss. Dharmakara has become Buddha and named himself Amitabha. 10 kalpas have passed since his attainment of Buddhahood. Right now he is teaching the Dharma, and there are numberless and countless assemblies of Bodhisattvas and Shravakas respectfully encircling him. Chapter 10. All wish to become Buddha Amitabha. When Prince Ajah and 500 great elders heard the Buddha speak about Buddha Amitabha's accomplishment of these vows as a bodhisattva, they were extremely joyous. Each of them held a gold flower canopy, went to Buddha Shakyamuni, prostrated, presented him with a flower canopy, and returned to their seats and listened to his teaching of the Sutra. In their minds each thought, we wish we can be the same as Buddha Amitabha at the time we become Buddha. The Buddha instantly knew and told all the monks, the prince and the others will become Buddhas in the future. In their previous lives, they have dwelt on the Bodhisattva's way and have made offerings to 400 billion Buddhas over endless kalpas. At the time of Kasyapa Buddha, they were my followers. Now they are making offerings to me. Again we have met each other. When the monks heard the Buddha say this, they were all happy for the prince and the elders. Chapter 11. The Adorned and Pure Buddha Land. The Buddha told Ananda, "The land of ultimate bliss is completed and adorned by countless merits and virtues. The names of suffering and disaster, evil paths and demonic afflictions do not exist, neither do the changes of the 4 seasons, cold or hot, rain or cloud. Neither is there the existence of any river or ocean, whether big or small, mounds, holes, brambles, thorns, or mountains of pebble, gravel, Kakravada, Sumeru, or rock and dirt. The ground is made of only the 7 jewels and gold, and it is limitlessly vast, spacious and smooth. Its subtlety, wonder, resplendence, purity, and adornment surpass those of all other worlds in the 10 directions." Ananda spoke to the Buddha after he had listened. "If that country does not have Mount Sumeru, then what do the heavens of the 4 Deva kings and Indra depend on?" The Buddha asked Ananda, "What do the Yama, Tusita, and all the heavens of the form and formless realms depend on?" Ananda replied, "The inconceivable force of karma." The Buddha asked Ananda, "Do you know the inconceivable force of karma? The maturing of past causes on your body is inconceivable. Living beings' karmic results are inconceivable. The good roots of living beings are inconceivable, as are all the Buddha's sagely powers and their worlds. The wholesome power of the merit and virtue of living beings in that country where they stay and cultivate, and the Buddha's spiritual power have made them so." Ananda said again, "Karma, cause and effect, and the karmic result are inconceivable. I have no doubt about this Dharma, but in order to break the net of confusion for future living beings, I ask such a question." Chapter 12. The light shines universally. The Buddha told Ananda, "Buddha Amitabha's awesome light is supreme and foremost. The Buddhas of the 10 directions cannot match it. His light shines through Buddha lands in the east, numberless as Ganges sands, and also to Buddha lands in the south, west, north, and the 4 directions, above and below. As to the luminous radiance above his shoulders, the light will shine through 1, 2, 3, or 4 yojanas, and some will shine through hundreds of thousands of billions of yojanas. As to the brightness of other Buddhas, some will illuminate 1 or 2 Buddha lands, some will illuminate hundreds or thousands of Buddha lands. Only Amitabha's Buddha's brightness universally illuminates measureless, limitless, and numberless Buddha lands. The radius of the brightness that one Buddha can illuminate is in accordance with the merits and virtues of the power of his vows cultivated in his previous lives. Each will attain his own brightness when he becomes a Buddha. One achieves what one cultivates, and there is no prearrangement. Buddha Amitabha's light is wholesome and excellent. It exceeds the brightness of the sun and moon by billions of times. His light is the most majestic of all. He is the king of Buddhas. Therefore, Buddha Amitayus was also called Buddha Amitabha, limitless light Buddha, unimpeded light Buddha, and peerless light Buddha. He is also called wisdom light, constantly illumining light, pure and clear light, joyous light, nirvana light, peace and stable light, exceeding sun and moon brightness light, and the inconceivable light. Such brightness universally shines throughout all the worlds in the 10 directions. Any living being who encounters such light will find his defilement will be diminished, and wholesomeness will be produced, and his 3 deeds of body, mouth and mind will be kind and amiable. Upon seeing this light, a being in an extremely miserable status of one of the 3 evil destinies can take a rest, and at the end of his life he will be liberated. If a living being hears about this Buddha's brightness, awesomeness, merits and virtues, and proclaims them day and night, and such a determined mind never ceases, that living being, according to his wish, will be born into Amitabha's land.